Okay, abusua makwa abasonko so edeba POG Media so. Abusua yembonra eye yensemu. Ene yante asemde eye Akwatia MP Ernest ya Kumi odaya wan sorry Ernest na ne daya was sorry ya wan sorry. Sisiano by elections babekoso ewo eye Akwatia abusua Sisiano Electoral Commission babe conduct by elections now both NPP and NDC no babe koso enye asem keto akra cause yentumi entna ho emma Akwatia seat no enda hosa say ye elect eye obia echese obe represent Akwatia after say Ernest yaw Kumi free mono ni free our free mono say yitumi yesa ade na enye asem keto akra although situation no very sad but mra ewo ho say yesa by elections intabusua by elections no ba abekoso yensa mumre no mom yenko na yenkonko tie ensem bia eko unsubscribe ya subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enkebi medamase
injuncted. In fact, then the question was going to be whether he was going to be sworn in or not on the dawn of January 7th, 2025, when this 9th Parliament was actually sworn in. We had a conversation here. This man at the time was not in Parliament, but then again, the fundamental question is eventually when the proceedings took place on the floor of Parliament on that day, we saw what the then majority position was when the entire process of the swearing of the 9th Parliament took place in there. We do know as well that eventually he was convicted for contempt. That's about some 4 months ago. The majority blocked him. This majority in the 9th Parliament blocked him from making a statement on the floor of Parliament. Then just about 3 weeks ago, that conviction was quashed by the Supreme Court. This contempt that was leveled against him, that ruling was quashed by the Supreme Court just about on the 11th of June, 2025, just about some 3 weeks ago. Now, today, July 7, 2025, the man that we're talking about is no more. Fundamental question is, we don't know what's going to happen in the coming days. There has to be a by-election. The clerk to Parliament would have to notify the Electoral Commission officially about what has happened in Parliament. Then the communication would be as to when the next 60 days, how proceedings will be. But at least from what we do know, for the next 7 days, the communication from the clerk of Parliament to the Electoral Commission has to take place. Now, question is, if both parties, the MPP and the NDC, will contest this, or the NDC would also take a decision, and who is actually going to contest on the ticket of the MPP with the demise of this man. Early days yet for a conversation like this, but then again, it's one that has to be embraced and confronted going forward. Now, and Yvonne Nikwe is in the constituency right now. We've been speaking to some of the constituents who have expressed their shock about what happened earlier today. Yvonne, I appreciate you connecting with us. Tell me what the constituents have been telling you earlier this evening when you interacted with them. If you can unmute for me. Yeah, great. Yes, I can hear you.
So it's been a devastating issue for constituents. Those are the constituency level, and those are the regional level as well. We do know that per the issues surrounding the Akwatia constituency, it was one of the constituencies that both parties, I talk about the NPP and the NDC, had so much interest in for the 2024 elections. Beyond these external elections, even in the internal contest between the NPP themselves, there were issues of him and then popularly known, I must say, Mensah Gyamfi. So these have been a worrying concern to constituents in that particular area. A number of them weeping, grieving today because they were expectant that these MP could make an impact in the constituency. Looking at a calm, cool, collected demeanor as he has had them, we're hoping that this news was just one of them that could go back and that would not be true. But this is the reality we're facing with. Both families have been grieving us. So we did speak to the brother today. He said that they were informed that the MP today, this morning, complained about some chest pains. He was drove by the wife to the hospital. Unfortunately, he could not survive that pains. And so these are the issues we're dealing with. It's a sad news to people in the constituency, like I said, to Parliament, to his family, to everybody. It means that in the coming days, as you've already mentioned, the sad decision has to be taken, a hard issue of going to a by-election. Per the circumstances that have happened before today, going by the 2024 December elections, it looks like a tough decision on both sides, whether the NDC or NPP. We do know that it would be a hard decision to make. Who would contest? How they...
There's a cranky connection to Yvonne there, but let's hear from the brother of the late Member of Parliament, Ernest Kumi, who's been telling us about the moments that's earlier this morning leading to this untimely death of the Member of Parliament. Take a look.
Do anope no say nakoma ayeneya ntomo de ko hospital or Leicester Hospital. Omni do hospital no afede obudi so sini so a ayeden enko.
He was rushed to the hospital for medical care. The hospital officials tried everything to keep him stable, but we lost him. It's very devastating to us.
So, Yvonne, that's a brother there talking about earlier this morning how he was feeling and they having to rush him to the hospital. I know you've been talking to some of the family members as well. Tell me if they've been giving you a bit more detail beyond what we just heard his brother talk about.
Well, Alfred, the extended family is yet to have an official meeting and, as it were, give official briefing to the media. Per the customs of the area, the family's elders must sit and discuss the issue and officially respond to everything before they can officially speak to the media. So as I speak to you, the family heads have not spoken to the media, I guess. As I said, we're tracking them to see exactly what their confirmation will be tomorrow, because Achimwenchi is where their family elders is. But we do know that the wife do stay with him in Accra. So as I speak, the family hasn't yet confirmed exactly the situation or exactly made a comment yet. Again, the hospital where he was taken to has not yet pronounced the cause of death yet. We're hoping that in between tomorrow and as the day ends, we'll be having all of those official confirmation. Then the public would settle with exactly what we're dealing with.
I see. Now, you were earlier telling me about the constituents and what they've been telling you, or the emotions they've been expressing to you before I lost you briefly. But tell me exactly what the constituents have been telling you since the demise or the news of the demise of their Member of Parliament earlier today.
Well, Alfred, we spoke to women, men, and young people in the community. From the way they grieved, what we pick from them is community and expectant of having to have impact from a young MP who has gotten the chance to be in Parliament. Yes, they are lawmakers, but they believe that through their lobbying skills and networking, they could provide jobs for the young ones in the community. Again, we are looking forward that between him and everybody, there could be partnership in giving development for the community. And so they are broken down by not going to have this from him, especially when they were yearning for him to win the election and the 2020 elections, which did not come by, but he had it this time around. And so for those constituencies, it's been a stab in their chest by the death of their MP. Very sad to get to know today. Some of them are still in disbelief. I got that sense from them today. Maybe until they see the body of the MP, they would still be in disbelief, as everybody has been today. Again, we do know that a number of members of parliaments in the Eastern region have been sharing their thoughts as well. We've seen the member of parliament for the UW South constituency, Michael Ochibefi, Member of Parliament for the Kopong constituency, Honorable Samia, all sharing that thought about the MP and how he was able to have his way into Parliament and be able to, as it were, be able to learn by the day and then continue to be with them as they push their agenda as minority in Parliament.
I do appreciate you on this, and I know that you're going to be there for us just a bit more going into the coming days and how the response and then the decisions of both parties will be, because you were in the thick of affairs in that constituency. You saw the violence that characterized the entire election head on. But then again, the aftermath of it, we have seen the people in that constituency also looking keenly about what is happening in court and the challenge and back and forth. Now, was there any indication as to they now beginning to also embrace the reality of having to go through another election cycle again based on the burning of the offices we saw and all the incidents that characterized that period?
Well, it as much as the Akwatia constituency recorded violence, and that has caused the security personnel to have beef out of the military, the constituency didn't see any of this mishappening coming in. Of course, no one can tell when death occurred, but they didn't see it as quickly as soon. Like I said, the issues were in court. They were being dealt with until weeks ago. The Supreme Court passed the conviction against him. So for the constituency in that area, they did believe that probably the matter was ending per that length that it has traveled. But here again, we are today. Unfortunate death we've all been met with. It means that a decision has to be taken. The Akwatia constituency cannot be left like that. And so it means that they'll have to go to the polls again. Going to the polls means that the NPP as a party must elect from their primaries. Who again should step in his foot will be a very hard decision. We do know that internally there's been back and forth and some internal wrangling before he was elected. Now, who's supposed to step in that shoes will be another matter for them to deal with.
Indeed.
And so we're hoping that going into the days when it's finally laid to rest, the NPP as a party will do organize themselves and get somebody elected before they meet the NDC in that by-election. Whether the NDC will still put in Henry Bachi is another issue we're hoping to see. Akwatia constituency from time immemorial has been a very constituency that every eyes has been on. Back from the days of Honorable Baba Jamal till now that a lot of the time dynamics do change. Here again, we're left with a by-election. We'll be following suit day by day to see how all of these pans out and then get our viewers and our listeners into them.
And its leadership shall be informed. Through this medium, expressing on behalf of the caucus condolences to the bereaved family and to the people of Akwatia. The member was not seen as somebody who was unwell, and therefore you are pained. Well, I will say, God knows best. It is the prayer of this side of the house that today's proceedings be terminated.
Well, so that prayer by Alexander Apanyoma King was heard by the Speaker as the first Deputy Speaker who presided over the business of the House earlier today. But before that, the Majority Leader, that's Mahama Yariga, also spoke and essentially gave more detail about how he and the majority in Parliament also knew the now late Member of Parliament for the Akwatia constituency, Ernest Kumi. Take a look at this.
A young man full of promise for the store of knowledge, intellect, promise for store of energy that this house needs to sustain it. It's not only a loss to his family, it's not only a loss to Akwatia as a constituency, it's a loss to Ghana. I join my colleague to appeal to colleagues here and then Right Honorable Speaker that we do take an adjournment.
Asma Yarga there. Now, for the many who have been following the proceedings on the floor of Parliament, he's one man who spoke very little, but then again influenced as much as possible the backbench of the minority in Parliament. He spoke 3 times on the floor of Parliament, as per the records that Parliament has on its website. When you go there, specific to him, that's the late Ernest Kumi. And one of those 3 moments is what we're going to show to you right now, when he took his turn to contribute to a statement about nationhood and ensuring some level of proactiveness in the collection of waste and checking the disposal and discriminate disposal of waste in our communities. Take a look.
That's my campaign in Akwatia constituency. There are certain communities that their basic request to me throughout the campaign was for me to provide the containers for disposal of waste. So the problem is the people actually want to do the right thing, but even where to put their waste is a problem to them. So even when the containers are not available for them to dispose their waste, what do we expect them to do? So various entities and assemblies and organizations that are responsible for providing these container bins for disposal must also be up to the task and make sure that these containers are available in the communities to assist. Then, Mr. Speaker, increasingly we are losing our communal sense as well. We are becoming too individualistic in this country. So most of the time, people are concerned with basically what happens and what they can actually afford. When you come to where I live, we have challenges as well, but because maybe I can afford and pay to these Boboya and other people that randomly comes out to pick my bin, I, as well as most of the people in my community, are not much concerned about what is happening to the others. This is where I urge all of us to be very communal-minded, so that increasingly we will speak to ourselves, urge ourselves to help in such communal labors and organizing such communal labors to eliminate such waste issues that come.
And that's the man that was now referred to as a late member of Parliament for the Akwatia constituency. Tears flowing down the cheeks of many, and also tribute pouring in, so many of them. We're going to be recalling as we go on. We're going to go live to the constituency shortly. We've been speaking to some of the constituents there, and our Eastern Region correspondent Ivoneko is going to be joining me in a bit. We also spoke to the brother of the late member of Parliament, Ernest Kumi. But just a brief profile of him, just for the uninitiated, those who do not know him. He was at the center of a court back and forth in a lawsuit specifically about the constituency elections on December 7. We're going to get into that shortly, but to the man whom now is no more, this is the man Ernest Kumi. This is political career from what we do know. Born on Wednesday, the 5th of December, 1984. So essentially he would have been 41 years old this year on the 5th of December. But we lost him. We know he's a member of the New Patriotic Party, and then also specific constituency, the Akwatia constituency in the Eastern region. Now, based on the happenings in the 2024 general elections, this matter is actually still playing out in court, as a matter of fact. Now, he was declared winner of the 2024 parliamentary elections with, based on what the Electoral Commission declared, 19,269 of the valid vote cast, defeating Henry Yadomboachi of the NDC, who secured 17,206. If you recall, this particular constituency, very interesting, there was a first declaration of the NDC candidate as the MP-elect. Then the Electoral Commission overturned that, in fact, did not recognize that, and then they did a recollation, and then also eventually declared this man we're talking about, who is no more, Ernest Kumi, as MP-elect for the constituency. There was some violence in the Akwatia constituency, led to some burning of the some facilities in there that led to security being beefed up in that constituency during the election, specifically on the 8th of December. Our correspondent was in the thick of affairs in that constituency. And in terms of the victory at the primaries before representing the MPP in the 2024 parliamentary elections in the Akwatia constituency, he secured the nomination of the party in 2023 after he defeated the incumbent member of parliament, that's Amase, as well. And we know the story around Amase, which we'll get into on another day. But today, the focus is on this man who is no more. And this is his educational history, or the profile, as we do know. He has 3 degrees, second degrees for that matter, MSc Defense and International Politics, MBA Corporate Governance. He has also an LLB in law. We do know as well that he went on to enroll beyond the LLB as well to go through what Ghana School of Law to be called to the bar. But then again, Regional Maritime University as well is where he had his BSc Ports and Shipping Administration. And this is the man who, unfortunately, is no more as of earlier today. He is a member of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee of Parliament and then the House as well. And then also, here's what we do know when it comes to the issues surrounding his election on December 7, specifically when he was declared as winner of the December 7 parliamentary elections by the Electoral Commission. We saw the back and forth that happened after the NDC candidate was declared winner, and then the Electoral Commission stepped in, quashed that result. On December 12, 2024, after all that had happened, the Electoral Commission addressed the press conference declaring Ernest as winner of the December 7 parliamentary elections in the Akwatia constituency. Recall that there was a burning of the party office, the Electoral Commission office, where the coalition was taking place in that constituency. And as a result, contention was about whether there was the accurate number of the results that was declared in that constituency at the time. Now, the contention of the NDC was that to the extent that their candidate had been declared winner, and then now the Electoral Commission stepping in, they had to test the locus of this man in the court of law. On the 3rd of January, 2025, this matter was topical in the Koforidua High Court when he, Ernest, was...
Okay, abusia wene ensema ekoso ewo political highway so Ernest Kumi ne honsem na yade ebrema abusia asem no asema arehuya enye easy kura bedamase samoje pene kokoti sa ensem we edema aha POG Media.